You have finished your works, you have submitted your invoice to the payer. You don't need to wait for the payer to pay you. So rather than waiting, you can go to Akseleran, submit the invoice, we do the verification and the assessment, and if it is okay, then we can provide up to 80% of that invoice amount. My name is Ivan Tambunan. I'm the CEO of Akseleran. Akseleran is a marketplace lending platform that connects SMEs with crowd lenders in Indonesia, both retail and institutional. So before founding Akseleran, I was a transactional banking lawyer. I worked at Allen & Overy in their Jakarta and London office, doing syndicated lending, project finance, leverage finance, and real estate finance. Now in 2013, I went for my master's study in London, where I wrote a dissertation on crowdfunding. So I thought at that point there was no crowdfunding platform in Indonesia, or at least there is no legitimate one. And so I thought it would be great if we bring this concept to Indonesia, because we have a unique situation where SMEs are facing a huge funding gap, and at the same time we also have a lot of rising middle class people and also a lot of institutional investors that want to get into SME lending area. So I thought if we can build a marketplace that can provide a cash flow based lending to these SMEs and then connect them to these crowd lenders, then that would create a really good solution to the funding gap issue. OJK, the regulator here, started to issue regulation at the end of 2016, so legitimizing the business. After that, a lot of new players come in, including Akseleran. We have about 150 legitimate players that are registered at OJK. I think we are still early, but the potential is huge, because in the past 5 years the growth has been very significant, and I believe in the next 5 years it will be even more. Akseleran, for instance, we started in October 2017, and on monthly basis we are dispersing about $8 million loan. The reason why there is a funding gap in Indonesia is because, number one, whenever SMEs want to ask for loans from conventional financial institution, they are always requested to provide collateral in the form of fixed assets. And as we know, SMEs don't have a lot of fixed assets. This is why we need to provide them with a cash flow based lending. And that's what we do here at Akseleran, where we provide about 90% of our loans in the form of invoice and pre-invoice financing. This is basically a short-term working capital loan up to 6 months tenor. Typical size is about 70,000 USD. A pre-invoice meaning purchase orders or service orders or contracts. You have finished your works, you have submitted your invoice to the payer. You don't need to wait for the payer to pay you. So rather than waiting, you can go to Akseleran, submit the invoice, we do the verification and the assessment, and if it is okay, then we can provide up to 80% of that invoice amount. We look into the validity of the invoice or the pre-invoices. We do several steps. We check to the payer if the invoice is valid, do a trade checking. So we look into the bank account statement and see the historical payment. And then lastly, we look into the behavior of the borrower. We have API connection with Pevindo Credit Bureau, which allows us to see the historical the credit history of these potential borrowers. For the PO specifically, because it has more risk, typically we only finance POs that is already repeating. Historically, this kind of PO has been completed and payment has been made. And we also control the use of proceeds. So we don't just give the money to the borrower, but we pay it directly to the vendor of the borrower. We have 4 co-founders in total, including me. 2 other co-founders are my brother, who becomes the CFO of the company, and then my cousin, who becomes the chief credit officer of the company. So my brother worked as an accountant at Deloitte, while my cousin Christo, he worked as a financial consultant at a boutique financial advisory firm in Jakarta. For the CTO, the technical co-founder, I actually reached out to him via LinkedIn. So that's how we started.
What way did you use to attract the clients?
Yeah, so we do 3 things. One is we have direct sales team. Direct sales team, meaning that we have sales guy that try to attract high net worth individuals into the platform. That's one thing. The other thing is partnership. So we partner up with institutions and partner up with key opinion leaders, influencers, to do referral campaign for us. So they provide a link that invites others to join us, and these people will get certain credit in their account. And then lastly, we do digital marketing. So this is mass marketing. We put ads in Facebook, Instagram to reach out to the mass market. Compared to our main competitors, our NPL is lower than them, and I think this will be a flywheel of growth for us, because for instance, during COVID in 2020, it brought a really good momentum for us. And by November 2020, our traction was already 50% higher than our pre-COVID level of loan disbursement, because a lot of our competitors struggled with their NPL, so they slowed down. Because they slowed down, we got more deal flow, so more SMEs went to us to get funding, and also at the same time we gain more trust from the lenders as well. Now because of that lower NPL, we get more borrowers, we get more lenders, and right now we also have a lower cost of fund compared with our competitors, and with that lower cost of fund, it brings competitive advantage to us. If it is more risky, then the expected return is also higher. If it is less risky, expected return gets lower as well. So the business model is that we charge the borrowers our origination fee. That's about 4.5% per annum, and then we also take loan channeling fee from the lenders. That's about 3% per annum.
So you receive from each side, the lender and borrowers.
Correct. Our compounded annual growth rate from 2017 to 2020 is more than 300% annual growth rate, CAGR. If things go well, traction went up by 9 times by 2023, then at that point we are looking into an IPO maybe. Indonesian P2P market is unique because the existence of the funding gap and the numbers of SMEs in Indonesia. We have more than 60 million SMEs. They are the backbone of Indonesian economy, and at the same time these SMEs are facing a huge funding gap, and at the same time we have rising middle class people, more than 60 million rising middle class people, and they have lack of access of investment. Less than 2% of Indonesians are invested in the capital market. So at one point we have a lot of SMEs with a huge funding gap. At the other side, we have rising middle class people, a lot of them that have lack of access of investment. This is why marketplace lending platform or peer-to-peer lending platform becomes a very interesting and attractive solution